I bought two of them. I bought two of them before I knew what they sounded like. I bought two of them before I completely understood how they might fit into my workflow. And I bought two of them before I had any kind of understanding of the level of performance that these microphones are able to do. What made me jump headfirst and buy two of these microphones? That really has to do with my trust in people. You see, I trust Andrew. I find it amazing that Andrew and his team over at Deity really understand the pain points that many of us independent creators face in a modern production environment. And then they go back and they come back with some real solutions that make our lives a lot easier. Let me explain. Deity has allowed my company to level up our audio production and keep more money in our pocket. When Deity announced this microphone, I was expecting to be wowed, and here we are. Now, I'm sure that there will be, if not already are, plenty of microphone review videos that are going to rattle off all the different specs. I'm not going to do that. Rather, I'm going to share my story and how it is that the VO-7U fits into it. It all starts by understanding and knowing what I am not. I am not a voiceover artist. I am not a musician, and I can't sing. And what that really means is that a large diaphragm condenser microphone is not the right microphone for me. You see, I work in a lot of different environments with all of my corporate clients. Some environments, I have zero, if any, control over the acoustic treatment of that space. In other cases, I don't have the budget, the time, or the gear to acoustically treat every single working space that I might find myself in. And that is where the VO-7U fits into my workflow. It's a dynamic microphone, which inherently has properties that help reject sound and focus on what it is that I'm trying to capture. We have many clients that pay us to come in to help them record their training sessions so they can then distribute to all of their employees. Many of these clients have zero to very, very little voiceover experience. So having a tool like this dynamic microphone that is USB-C comes in clutch, because it means that my life got that much easier on set. The dynamic microphone properties of noise rejection in the space that the recording might be happening is the number one selling point for me on this microphone. Let's take a quick trip in time. A while back, Rode attempted to release a USB dynamic microphone. The real problem with that microphone was that you needed to set the gain so high that the microphone then effectively ended up not rejecting any sound. It would capture everything. So while it was dynamic, all the sound from the entire room and maybe even beyond, because of the gain setting, made it so that it functioned very much like a condenser microphone. So it's safe to say that that Rode dynamic USB microphone was a complete train wreck. Let's dive a little deeper into the VO-7U. Sound quality is important, so you can judge for yourself, because the entire audio of this video has been captured with the VO-7U. For those of you who are interested, this is what I have to say. The VO-7U has a natural sound to it. It doesn't make my voice bass heavy. It doesn't add articulation into my highs. It just gives me a very balanced sound. And when I look at the waveform, it's evenly distributed both into the highs as well as into the lows. And what that really means is that in post-production, I'm not going to need to make any phase adjustment. Diving in a little deeper, let's find out how it performs with self-noise. That's that humming sound, that staticky sound that budget microphones suffer from, caused by their internal electronics. For this, we'll use the Curtis Judd method of measuring. Curtis Judd tell us that anything lower than -60 max RMS level is very good or considered very good. Remember that number because we'll refer back to it in a moment. We've been talking for a moment, so now let's give it 10 seconds of silence. And now what we can do with the software is measure the silent portion of the audio after we run loudness control. I'm in the US, so I'm going to use Public Radio USA, which has a target true peak of -2 dB and an integrated LKFS of -24.0. Let's render. Okay, it looks like we hit our targets. Now let's measure the silent portion to see the results. For me, the VO7U checks off everything that I needed and expected when it comes to sound quality out of this microphone. The build quality on this microphone is outstanding. There is no shock mount that I'm aware of. And what you need to know is that this microphone will pick up handling noise or taps on the desk or vibrations from the desk, at least in the setup I'm showing. So once you set up the mic, you really should just leave it alone and don't touch it until you're done recording. Deity managed to include a hardware audio limiter to help manage audio clipping. In other words, if things got way too loud, the microphone is going to help you not clip the audio. I would yell, but I don't think anybody really wants to hear me yell. But if I raise my voice, as I'm raising my voice now as I'm speaking, I'm going to see in post-production whether this audio is in fact clipping or not. And I can tell you that in my monitors, I cannot hear myself clip, which means the microphone is doing its job. Obviously, that is huge and something that I had never seen implemented before. It's my understanding that it took Deity 2 years to develop and release this microphone. I can tell that Andrew and Deity have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into the company, and as a result, we all benefit. And that is why I trust Andrew and Deity as a brand. They simply make my life easier. You might have noticed I've been playing around with this foam cover while I'm talking here. And the reason is that this microphone, if I speak directly into it and I say, Peter Piper pick, you hear that? The plosives, right? They're there. It doesn't sound great, but this can help a lot. So this foam was actually made for the Electro Voice RE20, which has been my daily driver up until yesterday, if I'm being completely transparent here. So let's put this on so we can see how much either my voice changes, but also how well this works in trying to manage my plosives. So I'm at the same distance. I'm not sure that I can hear my voice actually changing. So I think the acoustics of how this particular pop filter is working seems to be really good. When I look at the waveform, it's still very balanced. So it's not going crazy into the highs or making my voice any deeper. So I think that that's good. And now if I'm speaking directly into it and I say, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, it manages the plosives a lot better. A lot better. I'm not sure if Deity sells a foam pop filter or any pop filter for this microphone at this point, but it would be cool if they did. That's going to lead me into what would I change. If I had to be hypercritical, right? So I'm going to really find something to nitpick at. The headphone preamp in the microphone, it's not going to win any awards. It's not horrible and it's not bad, but if you turn the dial, the gain dial on the headphones, past say the 2 o'clock position, you begin to hear some hiss, and that's self noise probably from the headphone preamp. That is not something you're going to see in your recording, but it is something that I hear in my headset. Headphone preamp improvements, maybe. Another thing that I would like to see changed or try to sort this out for myself is some sort of shock mount that'll help me manage the handling noise or somebody working on their computer while they're doing a voiceover. And I'm comfortable saying this right now. My wish list of things that they could change are not deal breakers. And none of those are going to bother me to the point that is going to make me abandon this microphone, because this microphone is that good. I'm really glad that I bought 2 of them, and I plan on outfitting all of our workstations here at Media IQ with one of these microphones. And if I have my way, the majority of my clients that I do regular work with will also have one of these at each of their stations, because that will make my life that much easier. I'm going to throw this out there. If you guys want to see a comparison of how this mic performs against what used to be my daily driver, the Electro Voice RE20, be sure to let me know in a comment. And I'm curious, what do you guys think of the Deity VO-7U? Is this the type of microphone that could benefit your workflow? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And if you feel like being awesome and you want to support the channel, be sure to smash the like button. Until next time, I'm Carlos, and I will catch up with you guys in the comments. Take care.